What are we excited about? What are we nervous about? And what might you be sleeping on heading into the Sugar Bowl? We've covered all the angles, and yet still some things that we don't think you're thinking about next on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, everybody. He is Daniel. I am Clint. Together, we are Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Today's episode is here because the everydayers are here with us. The first listeners are here with us. You guys make this podcast special. Thanks for being an everydayer and a first listen. This podcast is for fans, by fans, and those of you who stay along for the loyal third segment, listen. Today, we're going to talk about what we're excited about for the Sugar Bowl, what gets us up and going, what we're nervous about, what makes us grab that bucket, if you will.
Yeah.
And that's on you.
That's a problem. It's a problem.
When you travel,
what is the bucket policy in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome? What is the bucket policy?
You can get a bucket hat, which can turn into
Is it a clear bucket? May I bring one of those in? Clear buckets only?
You can get that disposable one like the
spoiler alert, Clint. You're not going to be seeing me walking into the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in a bucket hat. Okay? That's not going to be. That's not going to be.
Maybe we could talk about all the visors you have, Daniel. Maybe we could talk about all the different visor. No, we're not has-been reporters who are about to retire or have retired.
Not doing that.
Daniel, today we're going to end on third segment. What not to sleep on, some things about this game that you really, really, really need to pay attention to. And we're going to give you something that maybe you haven't thought of. Daniel, let's start first. Why we're excited about this game. Tell the people what you're excited about.
Well, I'm excited to go to the Chili's. I'm excited to hang out at the tailgate. I'm excited to be in the stadium. I'm excited to be there with you, Clint. It's going to be a heck of a time to be had by all. And so there's plenty to be excited about. On the football side, I'm excited to see Gunnar Stockton. I mean, I think I have gone through the range of emotions. I think I've been nervous about Gunnar Stockton in this start, but I think I've fully transitioned, to your point yesterday, to being completely excited about this kid. When we mentioned the 21 days to prepare for this game is significant. And I do think that that's gone a long way. Mike Bobo did address that in his media and talk about that. And I do think that is a huge advantage it's basically a spring practice that he got in order to prepare to be the new Georgia quarterback heading in. But I would say even on top of that, Clint, I'm excited to watch Gunnar Stockton based on what I saw when he had 0 days to prepare. When he had 0 minutes to prepare, when he went into that locker room thinking, I'm the backup quarterback, and then 15 minutes later, he ran out of that locker room knowing that he's the starting quarterback at Georgia. The way that he carried himself, the way that he handled that, even the lessons that he learned in the mistakes that he made in that action, I don't think it can be overstated. If Carson Beck gets hurt in the post-game celebration of the Georgia overtime win in the SEC championship game, I am sitting here beside myself, nervous about Gunnar Stockton going into this game.
We're not pleased.
No, and the funny thing is that he would be the exact same quarterback in that scenario that he is now. But for me, the peace of mind that comes from having seen him play really well, I mean, not exceedingly well. It's not like he came in and lit the world on fire, but play pretty well in a spot where he had every opportunity to blow it, to choke, the stage to be too big for him, for the moment, for the spotlight to really get to him. To see him perform in that setting gives me so much confidence knowing that now Mike Bobo and Gunnar Stockton have had 3 weeks to cater the offense exactly to his strengths, his skill sets, what he likes to do. And you heard Bobo talk about that a lot. Like, what are the looks that he likes? What are the packages that make him feel comfortable? What are the
Yep.
defenses that he enjoys seeing, and what does he like to do when he sees this type of coverage? I think there's a lot of tweaks that you're going to see to this Georgia offense, not wholesale. We're not going to come in running the wing tee or, a bunch of zone read stuff. We'll probably run a little zone read stuff. But
Sure.
I think you're going to see several small tweaks that you would really have to pay attention to catch. All of that makes me excited about what we're going to get out of Gunnar Stockton. I think he's going to play really well in this game.
I anticipate Gunnar Stockton having full control over this offense. Not saying that it's going to be easy down the stretch. We saw Carson Beck kind of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde from last year, this year, because of the, record-breaking rookie wide receiver and tight end on the West Coast right now, wreaking havoc in the AFC. So,
the best tight end in the history of the NFL.
Yep.
Full stop. Notice I chose not to include first year in that sentence because I didn't feel it was necessary, Clint.
It's not. It's overuse of words. Let's be economical with our words.
We should be.
We should be. We have many things. That's
we have never been accused of.
Never been accused of being economic of our words.
People love the banter.
They love the banter. They're going to just get behind Gunnar. I have full-fledged confidence in this offense.
What are you excited about heading into this game?
Kirby Smart has had plenty of days.
Many days.
To challenge this defense. Now, this defense showed up in the SEC championship game. Sure absolutely suffocating again against Texas. With Texas, we got the blueprint of that number down. Kirby Smart has seen Jalen Walker. He has seen Michael Williams. He has seen health come back to the defensive line. He has seen guys have been suffering and dealing with injuries and plaguing injuries of lower leg stuff for just months and months and months. We have a solidified secondary. We have people who don't want to be on the team and haven't been producing for this team all year long in the portal and gone. He has been challenging them and saying this team wants to run it up the soft underbelly of this defense. Now, I'm not making a prediction because I don't know how this team's going to respond. I'm not calling for this defense to come out and light the world on fire against a very, very good physical offensive line and physical running attack. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is I'm excited to see them meet the challenge because if this defense meets that challenge, what I said yesterday of Will Howard playing that Will Howard, nobody can beat Ohio State. If our defense comes out and shuts down a physical running attack and makes Notre Dame shift, now all of a sudden I shift because I say, y'all screwed. Y'all, we are just running through the rest of the college football playoff, high-fiving and laughing. Y'all done messed up. Because if this defense is like that, and I'm excited to see the challenge. This is the nemesis for Georgia all year long, has been this type of physical offense. We saw it against Alabama. We saw it against a couple teams that came out and just said, I'm gonna out physical you. If we respond well, and Kirby's had all the days to prepare, challenge them. I have high hopes. I'm optimistic that they will. And if they do, I will be fist pumping every single minute inside the Mercedes-Benz Superdome as we go on to a clear-cut victory. We're going to come back after this, tell you what we're nervous for, but first, these. These are, in fact, Rocket Money. Daniel, money is kind of tight for a bunch of people these days, and we need help at times making sure that we know the best way to use money and budgetary aspects. We've had a few subscriptions. We didn't even realize that we were using. Rocket Money helps us make tracking them easier. It's like having a professional personal assistant for your finances, has an app to cancel your unwanted subscriptions, and helps you build towards the goals that you have in 2025 all in one place. Whether you have spending habits or those subscriptions, even goals you want to hit, Rocket Money has over 1 million users that have saved a total of 500 million canceled subscriptions this year alone, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the premium features. For me, Subscription Tracker is the place it is. I've used the cancel services. I won't be using anymore. I already saved a ton. Plus, with their goals feature, I've been able to automatically set aside money for my future. No more stressing about budgeting every month. cancel your unwanted subscriptions and teach your finances to get in line with your goals that you have faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/locked-on today. That's rocketmoney.com/locked-on. rocketmoney.com/locked-on. Give you what you're excited for. We said be looking for Gunnar Stockton to be Stunna-Gunna. There's many nicknames running around for him right now.
I don't know.
Daniel.
We got to wait and see, Clint. Patience
Thank
is
you.
the name of the game in a situation
Thank
like this,
you.
Georgia fans. You do not want to jump on the first train that comes through.
We wouldn't have Stetson Fleming Bennett the third as the notable name. The fourth, the fourth. If it
I'm sure Stetson
been.
Fleming Bennett the third is also
yeah. Okay, Daniel, what are we nervous for in this game?
Sure. Well, everything. So there's that.
But
if I could be more specific, it would be that I really believe we both predicted, did we not, yesterday? And I don't want to spoil anything for you. If you didn't listen to yesterday's show, go back and listen to it. Heck of a time we had.
It was.
But we both predicted that this was going to be a 3-point game. Not just a close game. We both predicted field goal game. Not necessarily meaning a game winner, but you could have a situation where this game's tied coming down the stretch and the team's kicking a 40-yarder for the win.
Here we go.
Well, that makes me nervous right there, but that's not what I'm getting into. What I'm getting into is this, Clint. If it's a tight game, as we imagine that it is, both of us have this game a bit more low scoring. If it's a low scoring game, as Vegas predicts that it will be, as you and I predict that it will be, and it's a tight game, as Vegas predicts that it will be, as you and I predict that it will be, this game is going to be decided, Clint, by turnovers. This is not the type of game that you can win while losing the turnover battle. Sometimes you can, when you're totally outclassing a team, you can turn the ball over and still win the game. You can overcome that. You can stretch your legs a little bit. Maybe it becomes a close game when it shouldn't have been a close game. This is not that kind of a game.
No.
If you lose the turnover battle in this game, you are losing the game. So I'm nervous because Georgia's not been particularly good this year at taking the ball away from teams. Notre Dame's not particularly fumble prone. And so I'm nervous Georgia's not going to be able to create any turnovers on that side of the ball. And while I think Gunnar Stockton is going to play well, do I think there's a misread in there, Clint? Do I think there's a masked coverage in there, Clint? Do I think that the Notre Dame defensive coordinators might throw a little bit at the young man? Yeah, I do. Kirby Smart's had a long time to get him ready, but you can never have enough time to get somebody ready for a game of this magnitude. And so I could see a turnover or two for Georgia. If Georgia's defense isn't able to create a turnover or two to offset that, to give us some advantageous situations, then I think you could be looking at a game that swings the other way and maybe swings the other way even hard. Like if Georgia loses the turnover battle by 2, my prediction might go from Georgia wins by 3 to Georgia loses by 17. Like that's the kind of swing that just a couple of turnovers down, just like a -2 in the turnover margin could mean in a game like this. And so when you have a game where the margins are thin, you're always going to be nervous that the ball is going to be put in harm's way and that your defense is not going to be able to create those momentum plays, those takeaway plays. Listen, Riley Leonard's really tough to sack.
Yes.
Georgia's defense is pretty good at getting after the quarterback. Ask Quinn Ewers. And when you get after the quarterback, you not only create huge momentum plays on the defensive side, but you also give yourself big opportunities to create a turnover. Ask Quinn Ewers. Well, if Riley Leonard's if we're not able to get him on the ground, if we're not able to sack him because of the style of offense that they play and the physicality of the quarterback, then the opportunity to create turnovers is diminished. Are we going to see this Georgia defense be opportunistic and get the football and create those advantageous situations where maybe we could see the game swing in Georgia's favor? And now we're talking about a 10, 14-point win for Georgia, and you and I are a lot more comfortable.
This is really wild. I think the year that this has been for us and watching Carson Beck become rigid in his throwing. He's a gifted passer. I think with a talented team around him, he's going to make an NFL team very happy. Okay. Like he's a legend in my book. He did his job and no one should speak ill of him. But this is not speaking ill of him. This is me just saying I've watched him be so rigid and so in his head at times with the ball that we've seen the interceptions. We've seen the turnovers. We've seen us win games in spite of losing the turnover battle.
Absolutely, we have.
Many times. Okay. That's the rigidity and the trepidation. Gunner is not going to suffer from that. Y'all, I'm here to tell you right now. This man, the other side is going to be the problem. The other side of forcing, of getting too excited, of pumping it into us, which is great. We want fast and loose until
it's good till it's good when it's good.
It's good when it's good. When the going is getting a little harder, it's not so good. And here's my fear with that. I've been on the roller coaster of Georgia offense all year. And so I can stomach a lot. My bucket has been filled many times by that. I'm nervous that Mike Bobo is going to get old Mike and Mike on third and long running the ball. Mike on run the damn ball, Bobo isn't going to be the case anymore. And I think he's going to, like I saw this definitively when he came in. Gunner came into the SEC championship game, overthrew the pass in the back of the end zone. And we saw Mike Bobo go, oh no, we have to throttle down. And he throttled down after that.
He did.
I don't think that can work against Notre Dame and this game. I think throttling down is the wrong way to go in this game. If y'all remember the championship game against Alabama, which I do, I was there. We were there. Remember the score at half, Daniel? Remember how close that game was at halftime?
Yeah.
Okay. And remember coming out of half, the Jorge Pickens play.
Big catch.
The
fingertips.
Oh my gosh.
What if we had a wide receiver that could catch the ball like that, Clint?
I swore to you. I swore to the people I wasn't going to talk about it.
It's the nervous segment on Excited Nervous Don't Sleep On. How could I not? How could I not bring up drops?
That, like you said, turnovers are a couple of plays in a close, hotly contested game. A couple of plays are really going to be the key to this. We saw that in the national championship game against Alabama, where a couple of plays went our way. The fingertip catch by Jorge, the turnovers,
the big run by Sony.
The big run by all of these things played in our favor when the game was super close.
Not Sony. The big run. Sorry, I was thinking of 2017.
I know what you meant.
The big run by Cook.
To not have those and to throttle down.
Yeah, you can't have that. Conservative Kirby, Clint.
And we've seen Kirby been a little fast and loose himself this year at times.
I mean, ask me about
2-point
the
conversion
championship game.
Why are we going 2-point conversion when it doesn't make sense? Just that will forever haunt my
dumb and dumb. And dumber.
I'm nervous that Bobo's going to throttle down, and it's going to be unique to me to see him pair up with that. We're going to come back to this, tell you what not to sleep on, but first, these. All right.
Clint.
We got the buckets out. We got the bourbon out to celebrate what we're excited about. The bottles and then the buckets. Now we need to tell the people something that this game has been talked about. If you've been watching ESPN, if you've been listening to Feinbaum, if you've been watching all the talking heads, there has been much discussed. We're going to give you something that hasn't been discussed a great deal, Daniel. What should the people not be sleeping on?
I'm gonna call a shot here. And if it hits, if I could get a betting line on this, I would be an insanely rich man.
Great. I love it.
Don't sleep on Jalen Walker, defensive MVP of the game, 0 sacks. Jalen Walker has 0 sacks, and yet is still the defensive MVP of this football game. I think if you're a Georgia fan, here is what you are banking on. Yes, there have been times when this Georgia defense has gotten pushed around. Yes, Notre Dame's offense has looked incredibly fast and incredibly physical in many of their games this year, most especially against Indiana. But Notre Dame has never been chased by Jalen Walker,
Nope,
or C.J. Allen, or Raylan Wilson, or hell, even Chaz Chambliss
there it
this
is.
year. Notre Dame has not seen athletic freaks like that on the defensive side of the ball. I think there could be, if you're a Georgia fan, you are hoping. I think there could be some violent collisions in this game. And I mentioned turnovers last segment. Violent collisions typically result in turnovers. I think Jalen Walker is going to make a huge impact in this game. I think he's going to prove that he's a lot more than just a pass rusher in this game. I think he's going to play a lot of snaps in this game. And I think those three guys that I mentioned, Jalen, Raylan, CJ, those are the three most important players on this field for Georgia, including Gunnar Stockton, including Trevor Etienne, including Tate Ratledge. Those three guys are the three most important players to me on Georgia's roster heading into this game. And so don't sleep on them having a tremendous impact in this game, even without any sacks.
I'm going to give you one on the defensive side of the ball. Then I'm going to hit offense, and then I'm going to pin it back over to Daniel, because I think you're right. My first, don't sleep on the defensive side. Don't sleep on the leading sack, if there is at all a sack for Georgia this game. This game, we could go without a single sack and win handily. Just like, this is not Texas. But if there is a sack, Chaz Chambliss will have more sacks than Mykel Williams and Jalen Walker combined. It's going to be stumbling, like a bootleg that Chaz stayed home on somewhere or something kind of missed in the backfield, a little RPO with a throw option on one side, and Chaz is right there in perfect position as he surfs down on the back hip of a guard pulling or something like that and runs into a sack. I think that's more likely than just the 5-step drop back, huck it up, watch the guys pin their ears back on the edge. That's not this game, I don't think. If that is the game, I'm going to be shocked that Notre Dame has done that. I don't think they're going to. So that's my first, don't sleep on Chaz having more sack potential than anybody else on this defensive side of the ball. I agree with you. I think Jalen, CJ, the linebacking core is going to be the most key. Don't let Love get to the second level. I beg you.
Be in the right gap. Just do that for me.
I love Dan. Again, love him. He's not catching Love in open field.
No.
Sorry. It's not Dirty Dan's game, y'all.
No, sir.
It's just not.
I'm sorry. Is it a meaningless but legendary block on an interception run back for a touchdown? That I will buy Dan Jackson could make it down the field for. He's not catching that running back.
No, he ain't catching that running back. Okay, offensive side of the ball. And I don't know how people continue talking about the wide receivers in Georgia's offense, especially with Gunnar Stockton, especially now this far into the season. I know we can talk about deep shots, and I know we could just all to death. If the SEC championship game wasn't an indication, if his comments after practice aren't an indication, and if you're still sleeping on this is like a wake up and don't sleep on.
Yeah, there you go.
Oscar Delp is going to lead this team in receptions. Just please get that in your head. Like, Gunnar loves him. He loves Gunnar. Also, Oscar Delp has come on as of late. Daniel, in a massive
He's figured
way.
it out.
He figured it out. Lawson Lucky with a very, very monumental catch. I get it. I understand. But Oscar
all
Delp
three tight ends utilized. All three tight ends will be utilized. But Oscar Delp, I love it. Leading the team.
We're going to take shots. I'm not doubting that. Dylan Bell's going to get his slants. We're going to do outs. Aaron Smith is going to try to attempt to do something he doesn't normally do. All of that will be the case.
What is that? Play football on the outside?
Nope, he can do that just fine.
No, he does that fine. Yeah, okay. Yes. Something else then. Got it.
Something else that his name is indicative of. Oscar Delp is going to lead this team in targets and receptions. Bank on it, y'all. And I don't know why people still want to talk about the wide receivers to this day in this offense. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, my last one's on the offensive side of the ball too, and it is to me, it's very obvious. And so to even call it a don't sleep on, maybe feels a little bit silly, but this game's opening when Georgia gets the ball first. And I don't know when that will be. I mean, barring like a turnover and we get it, on the 10-yard line or something, like going into the end zone, something weird. When Georgia gets the ball for the first time in this game, it's going to be pass, pass, pass. Those will be the first 3 plays called. Like, for 2 reasons. One, this Notre Dame team is going to be sitting on the run. It's a brand new quarterback. It's a big game. They're going to be sitting on the run. You do not want to get behind the chains early for Gunner.
No.
And you got to get this kid some completions to settle his nerves.
Get him on
rhythm.
Get
him going. Nobody knows this more than Mike Bobo does. Listen, we've seen it a lot this year, but I said a lot of things are going to change about the game plan. Do not expect the all-year consistent game plan of Georgia, which has been pass to set up the run. Don't expect that to change in this game. Don't sleep on that continuing right in line with what it has been all year. Pass, pass, pass to open the game. And then maybe you'll see a little read option, and maybe even don't sleep on Gunner Stockton getting a carry before Trevor Etienne gets a carry.
Yeah.
Because again, I think you want to settle the kid's nerves. You let him run 5 yards and take a hit, he pops up and all of a sudden he's playing football. This is no longer the Sugar Bowl. This is just football. And that's what you want for him heading into this game. And so don't sleep on that. I think that style of offense is here to stay with Gunner. I don't think they're scared to throw the ball at all with him. I think they would love it if the running game took a lot of pressure off of him. But I think early on, you are going to see them go to the pass and try to get some easy completions, some early quick ones.
That's right. Just get it on him. Have him get out there. He is not Carson Beck. Again, that's the difference in this offense. The schematic's going to stay pretty much in line, but how you go about getting it is different. He's not Gunner. Gunner is not Carson. He wants to get in there. He wants to get in the scrum. He wants to mix it up. He wants to mix it up, and I'm here for it. He's more Tate Ratledge than he is anything else. Okay, the energy from right guard to quarterback. There's a lot of similarities to that.
Crossover.
There's a lot. Nate Frazier is going to have the longest run of this game. Etienne's going to have his chunks, but I think we get one break off 50-yarder. Talk about second level. If we are able to go ahead and get that pass to set up the run, I think Frazier's the one to do it. He is Daniel. I'm Clint. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. The next time you see us on this podcast, we will be on location, Daniel, in New Orleans.
I can't wait.
Oh my God.
I can't wait.
I know New Orleans seen some things like this. I think this is the first time where I'm thinking to myself, normally we come into town like, oh, okay, get ready, town. It might be the other way. It might be
town. Yeah, the town's ready. But we're ready to.
We're ready to. We'll see y'all then live from New Orleans next show. We'll see you guys then.
See ya.